Park. The Kettleers taking on the Bourne Braves after a rainy couple of days here in Cotuit. Coach, it's been a little bit since we've played some competitive ball. We had the All-Star game on Sunday, and your team had 8 players that made an impact in that game. But specifically, it was Cody Pasek who stood out with a solo home run. You were on third base coaching when he hit that home run. What was going through your mind when you saw it fly over the fence and when he was trotting around the bases?
Well, I think that's one of those baseball happenings that I would call it that makes this game totally unpredictable. You know, Cody had not had a extra base hit during the 2019 Kettleers season, even though we knew he has the capability to do that. And he's worked a lot on getting the ball up in the air in the outfield. So, you know, it was just one of those days. It was meant to be. His family was sitting down the line. His grandfather's empty seat was there, and can any of us explain it except maybe Cody? I think Cody's the only one who probably has an answer for it. He got, you know, it's kind of like one of those situations where you got a car wreck and somebody can, all of a sudden you got enough strength to overturn that car and get somebody out from underneath it. It's one of the most beautiful things you can ever see, watching that ball fly through the air at nighttime. So I was thrilled for Cody.
What did you say to him after the game?
I just said, you know, I'm happy for you. As I was getting ready to I had my grandsons with me, and we left right in the bottom of the 9th inning and listened to you on the radio on the way back to Cotuit. And but I just said, you know, congratulations on a wonderful game.
So today, obviously, it's up in the air how many innings we can get in. How do you game plan? Do you plan for 9 innings, or is there a sort of different approach you have to a game like this where 9 innings might be in question?
No, today I'm planning for 5. I'm absolutely, Matt Mervis will be the first guy out, period, no matter what happens, and we're going to go with him, and then we'll probably come with Smitty right behind him, and we'll go with our closers and hope that we get 5 innings in, and if we get 5 or 6, whatever it may be, you know, obviously we're hoping that we're on the better end of the score if that happens. But today is with the low ceiling. I mean, we're the only team in the league playing today, and I think that shows how good our field is. You know, we didn't play yesterday because the rain came a little bit later. We knew we could make it up on Thursday and not play on a wet field. And so that, you know, we just kind of did that a little bit. We might have been able to start by 30 yesterday, but we're going to try. Our field's in great shape, very honestly. The dirt's in great shape. Now, there's still cells hanging around right now. There are, and nobody may hit one out of the infield with the wind blowing dead in our face, so with it. But, yeah, we'll just kind of go play a 5-inning game today. And if we get 6 innings in or 7 innings, then that'll be great.
All righty, Coach. Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You learned it from Coach Roberts. We've got baseball back at Lowell Park. Rain, thunderstorms on the Cape. It doesn't matter. The Kettleers press on through it, and we've got a little ball game on our hands. The Cotuit Kettleers host the Bourne Braves in game number 34 on the 2019 summer, and we're glad that you could join us for the ride. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton, Josh Rothstein and Jacob Cohen back with us here in the Arnold Mycock building, back at home sweet home. Second game out of what would have been a 3-game homestand for the Kettleers. Yesterday's game against Harwich was rained out. Sunday was the All-Star game. It feels like forever since we've had a little Cape League action for Cotuit, but Aram, a lot has happened since then, and you heard from Coach, probably only expecting 5 or 6 innings today. It's going to be a little fun ride.
It seems like he's going to go straight to the bullpen with the start of Matt Mervis, a couple other guys that usually pitch in the back end of games expected to throw today, maybe Casey Schmidt. We'll see who else. And it's an interesting strategy because he's not planning for that 9-inning game. So going to some of his best arms, each can go 2 innings or so by committee. It could be a recipe for success, but it's also something we haven't seen before.
It's going to be a shortened game. We're expecting maybe 5 or 6 innings. We got a lot of rain last night. Even a tornado warning on Cape Cod, and even one reported touching down in South Yarmouth earlier today. That rain continued through the night and into the morning. A lot of downpour, a lot of steady showers. In fact, right when some of the players arrived at the ballpark here at about 3 p.m., it was still drizzling, but the coaching staff and Coach Roberts finished up on the field. They've done a terrific job. It looks a little damp around the infield on the outer edge of the home plate circle as well. But somehow in heck, we're going to get this plane off the ground, and this is the only game going on today. Pretty remarkable.
That's the amazing thing, is that we are the only ones able to get the game in today. Coach Roberts mentioned it in the interview, a testament to how well this field has been draining. But the infield will probably play soft today. He mentioned the wind blowing in, the grass will be slow, the infield dirt will be slow, and it seems like a great day for some Mike Roberts small ball.
We are in the final stretch of the season, only 10 more games to go for Cotuit, including this one today against Bourne, and it's the last time that these two teams will meet in the regular season. Let's get you a starting lineup for the Bourne Braves. Harvey Shapiro coaches them. It's his 17th season in charge, 2009 Cape League champion, a 3-time runner-up in 2003, 2005, and 2017. His lineup mostly the same from all the 5 preceding matchups between these two. And it begins with Cody Morissette, the all-star second baseman from Boston College, bats leadoff. Xavier Warren, the third baseman, bats second. Judd Fabian, all-star center fielder from Florida, bats third. Jimmy Glowenke, the shortstop, bats cleanup. Jared Poland, the DH out of Louisville, bats fifth. Kyle Hess, the right fielder from Pittsburgh, bats sixth. Nick Bruiser gets the call at first base. He bats seventh. Jake McKenzie, the left fielder, bats eighth. And Robert Carmody, this catcher, bats ninth. Nick Dumkowski is a left-handed starting pitcher, 2-2 with a 2.76 earned run average. He's opposite Sean Sullivan, the right-hander out of Cal, who gets the ball for his 7th start of the season for the Kettleers. 0-2 with a 2.86 earned run average. The youngster is 6'1", 165 pounds, just a sophomore and a native of Woodland Hills, California. He's coming off of his best performance of the entire summer arm. It was last Tuesday in Orleans. He tossed 6 scoreless innings, allowed 4 hits, did not walk anybody, and struck out 6.
He's been really good at working quickly and pounding the strike zone, something that Coach Roberts really likes out of his starting pitchers. He's really poised up there for just a teenager, one of the youngest players on this Cotuit Kettleers ball club, and he's just looked really comfortable. Like Coach Roberts said earlier in the season, Sean Sullivan looks like he was born on the mound.
Well, he's got a lot to work towards. Just finished up his true freshman season at Cal. And he's set to get this one underway at Lowell Park. Overcast skies overhead. Cody Morissette digs in and takes a fastball at the knees for strike number 1. First pitch clocks in 3 minutes early at 4:57 Eastern. Morissette, a left-handed batter, checking in at 253 with 11 driven in. He lines one out to straightaway center, and Robinson ranges over into the right center gap to make the catch for out number 1. One down at the top of the first for Sean Sullivan. Let's set the Kettleer defense. Sullivan, the right-handed pitcher on the mound. Cody Pasek, the all-star catcher behind the plate. Mason McWhorter plays at first base. Nick Gonzalez, the second baseman. Casey Schmidt, the third baseman, and he steps in with a left-handed batter at the plate in Xavier Warren. And Adam Oviedo's the shortstop. Sully's first pitch to Warren, a fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. Kettleer outfield from left to right. Parker Chavers, Christian Robinson, and Joey Loperfido. Scoreless in the top of the first, one down and nobody aboard. 0-1, change up in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike on Warren. A 273 batter, leads the club, 3 home runs and 18 runs batted in. Casey Schmidt counters him just with his tiptoes at the edge of the grass at third. 1-1, swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Sullivan gets ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kettleers in the home white uniforms today, trimmed in maroon with the pinstripes, maroon caps with the C on the front. Kettleers across the chest. Deep breath for Sullivan. He looks in, starts his windup, 1-2. Curveball up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Warren. Bourne in the road blue tops today. Gray pants with a thin red stripe down the side. Red numbers on the shirts as well, Bourne across the chest. And red caps on the road when they hit the field. Swing and a miss on the 2-2. Sullivan gets a strike out of Warren. Changed him up right there for out number 2 here in the top of the first. Sean Sullivan doing as he does early. A quick and efficient first 2 outs in the top of this first inning. Morissette flew out to center field to lead off the ball game. Then Warren goes down swinging on 5 pitches. The bases are empty now for Judd Fabian with 2 outs in the top of the first. First pitch to Fabian, breaking ball in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Fabian, the young center fielder out of Florida. One of 5 All-Stars for Bourne that played in Orleans this past Sunday. A 301 batter with 5 home runs and 12 driven in. Slider tagged right over the heart of the plate for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. He has 3 home runs against the Kettleers and has been crucial in the 2 wins for Bourne against Cotuit in the past 5 matchups this year. 1-1 breaking ball, roped into the left center alley. That ball plunks in for a couple of hits. Here comes Fabian going down. He's going to get into second base with a stand-up 2-out double here in the visiting half of the first. Fabian continues to produce against the Kettleers. It's only his 7th hit overall against Cotuit. 3 of them have been home runs, but that one, the hanging double into the left center gap, that gets the Braves with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the top of 1.
He's been the Kettleer killer so far this season. He's been responsible for 2 of the victories against the Kettleers for Bourne, and again, just hitting the ball well here at Lowell Park.
Scoreless in the top of 1, man on second, and Fabian with 2 down. Here's Jimmy Glowinski, the shortstop from the right side. He takes a fastball up, 1 ball and no strikes. McKenzie, a .226 batter, 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. Went 1 for 4 this past Saturday in a loss against Wareham with an RBI. Sullivan's out of the stretch, first base side of the rubber. Holds at the belt. Gonzalez shades the runner at second, now backs off. 1-0 breaking pitch, tap to third. Schmidt charges in, throws on the run, and makes the play for out number 3. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base for Sean Sullivan. He's able to work around the Judd Fabian 2-out double, and we're on to the bottom of 1. Kettleers at the plate on the other side of this break. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to Lowell Park. Kettleers at the plate, bottom of the first. No score against Bourne. Mike Roberts and his starting lineup goes like this. Nick Gonzalez, the second baseman, bats leadoff. Casey Schmidt's the third baseman, batting second. Arajanu, the DH, slides into the number 3 spot today. Mason McWhorter follows him up in the cleanup spot, playing first base. Joey Loperfido, the right fielder, batting 5th. Parker Chavers, the left fielder, bats 6th. Christian Robinson bats 7th and plays in center field. Cody Pasek, the catcher, batting 8th. It's Adam Oviedo, the shortstop, batting 9th, and Sean Sullivan, the right-handed pitcher, who just worked around a 2-out double in the first inning of play. It's Nick Dumkowski who gets the ball for Bourne, big left-hander out of the University of Hartford. 6'2", 195 pounds, a junior and a native of West Springfield, Mass. 2-year player for the Braves under Harvey Shapiro. He's 2-2 with a 2.76 earned run average, making his 7th start on the summer. Bourne's pitching staff has been their bread and butter so far this season, Aram. We've seen their 2 best in Harry Rakowski and Mac Lardner, both of whom were all-stars. But it's been Dumkowski who's been very solid as well. He did not get an all-star nod. What does this lineup have to do to attack him today?
He's been really hot, especially after the All-Star break, or going into the All-Star break, rather. 5 innings pitched in his last outing, struck out 7. And it's just got to put the ball in play. The ball's not going to carry a lot today. It's going to be a day for Mike Roberts' small ball, and they got to put the pressure on the defense. Don't strike out at a high rate. He did punch out 7 last outing.
A gloomy, rainy day at Lowell Park, and no score in the bottom of the first inning. First crack at it for Cotuit at the plate. Nick Gonzalez from the right side. Dumkowski, the left-hander, winds up and delivers an off-speed pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Gonzalez, fresh off an all-star day on Sunday in Orleans, went 0 for 2 with a walk in that performance. 0-1 home. Fastball jacked in the air down the left field line. It will hook into foul ground, and it drops down in front of the McKenzie for just strike number 2. 0-2 on Gonzalez. A .347 batter. He leads the Cape League in hits, leads them in runs with 41, and also the league leader in slugging percentage, checking in with a .636 mark. Second in homers with 7, second in RBI with 27. Dumkowski's 0-2. Fastball split away, foul on the right side. Still no balls and 2 strikes on Gonzalez. He started as a leadoff hitter for the Western Division side in the All-Star game at Eldridge Park. Walked, stole a base, and scored in an 0 for 2 day. Game in which the West fell to the East 6-5 in walk-off fashion. 0-2, swing and a miss. Good changeup down and away from Dumkowski. And that's a strikeout of Nick Gonzalez to start things out in the bottom of the first.
Really good changeup there by Domkowski against a right-handed hitter. Only the 15th strikeout of the season for Gonzalez. That's how you know it was a good pitch.
One down in the bottom of one, scoreless ball game, and here's Casey Schmidt. Schmidt bats from the right side, a .264 batter with 5 home runs and 17 driven in so far. First pitch, changeup, runs onto the outside corner for a strike. Let's set the Bourne defense. Nick Domkowski, the left-handed pitcher on the mound. He's working with his Hartford teammate, Robert Carmody, who's the catcher. 0-1. Changeup golfed into shallow center field, and that drops in front of Fabian for a base hit. Casey Schmidt gets aboard with a one-out single here in the home half of the first. Still scoreless, rest of the Bourne infield. Nick Bruiser at first base. Cody Morissette plays second base. Xavier Warren, the third baseman. And Jimmy Glowenke, a sure-handed shortstop up the middle. Jake McKenzie, a speedy left fielder. Judd Fabian in center field. And Kyle Hess rounds things out in right field. No score, bottom of one. Schmidt with the one-out single. He's off first base, held on by Bruiser. Domkowski out of the stretch, and the first pitch grounded into left field for a base hit. Arajanu pounces on the first thing that he sees and makes it back-to-back singles for the Kettleers here in the first.
Araj has been swinging a much better bat since he came back from his little hamstring tweak. More aggressive and more controlled aggression there, not chasing out of the zone, and that's been the big issue for him. Anu
picks up a hit. He's on first base, and Schmidt goes up to second base. 2 on with only 1 out in the bottom of 1. Cotuit with a chance to take the first lead in this scoreless ball game. Here's Mason McWhorter, the left-handed batting first baseman. Domkowski leg lift and a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. McWhorter 17 hits and 54 at-bats. 11 runs batted in. He's on a little 3-game hitting streak, went 1 for 4 on Saturday at Lowell Park in a loss against Hyannis. Both runners lead. Nobody holds on. 0-1 home. Changeup. Pulled foul on the first base side. 0-2. 3-man umpiring crew today. They're in the black unis. Mike Piantadosi calls the balls and strikes behind home plate. John Jordan, the first base umpire. And John Patala, the third base umpire, in between the mound and second base right now with a couple of runners on and 1 out. Still 0-0 in the bottom of the first. Back-to-back one-out singles has Cotuit in business. Domkowski looks back to second. 0-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Actually, just a little bit of a foul tip. McWhorter able to stay alive by getting a piece of it. Still a 0-2 count. A quiet day in Cotuit. Kind of a gloomy, rainy day. Plenty of rain last night. Even a tornado sighted touching down in South Yarmouth earlier today. Somehow we were still able to get this game in. Here's the 0-2. Change up, grounded to first base. Bruiser on to Glowenke. He gets one. Relay back to Domkowski. He's not able to get McWhorter, the trailer, at first. Scored as a 3-6 fielder's choice to retire Anu at second base. Schmidt goes up to third base, and McWhorter safe at first. 2 down in the bottom of the first, and Joey Loperfido, the next batter.
That's one of those instances right there. If Arajanu's 100%, they don't even have a play at second base. We know he can motor, but with him hobbling a little bit, smart play by the first baseman and Bruiser to look over there, got the out, and now there's only 1 runner in scoring position with 2 away.
Runners on the corners, and 2 down. 0-0 in the bottom of the first inning. McWhorter off first base. Bruiser holds him on. Schmidt rounds off third. First pitch of Loperfido. High fastball, hack and a miss. And it's 0-1 on the left-handed batting right fielder out of Duke. Loperfido, a .259 average, 2 home runs and 6 RBI. 2 for 4 with an RBI on Saturday. 0-1. Fastball, tipped off foul. Domkowski gets ahead again, 0-2. Scoreless in the bottom of 1. First and third for the Kettleers with 2 outs. 2-strike pitch. Change-up, punched back into the parking lot, foul. 0-2 still on Loperfido. Looks like Domkowski really wants to work with that change-up early on.
He likes to go to that breaking ball. The thing is, the change-up works on right-handed hitters. He can use both the changeup and the breaking ball on the lefty Lowell Perfito, and he's got a lot to work with ahead 0-2.
He set at the belt, kicks and deals. Breaking ball, loop down the right field line, that tucks in for a fair ball. Joey Lowell Perfito with a 2-strike RBI single. 1 run already home. Here comes McWhorter without his helmet. The relay throw, safe the call at home plate. And the Kettleers pounce on the board. A 2-run hit for Joey Lowell Perfito, and that makes it 2-0 in the bottom of the first. He moves all the way up to third base on the play. He can score it as a double most likely, and he advanced to third on the throw. Both runs scored in Schmidt and McWhorter, and that makes it 2-0 Cotuit here at home.
Off the bat, looked like it would just be a single. We talked about how slow the outfield is, but Lowell Perfito showed off the wheels and was able to stretch it into extra bases.
Next up, Parker Chavers. He takes a strike. So Lowell Perfito up to third base, a 2-run double with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. He advances an extra 90 feet on the throw. And now it's Parker Chavers from the left side, down in the count, 0-1. 0-1 breaking ball popped up just behind third base. Warren reaches up and makes the play for out number 3. But the Kettleers are able to strike first. Joey Lowell Perfito gets Cotuit on the board, a 2-out, 2-run double with 2 strikes, and that makes it 2-0 Cotuit after 1 inning of play. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors and 1 man left in scoring position, and we are on to the second. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. And welcome back to Lowell Park, top of the second inning. Kettleers up 2-0 on the Bourne Braves. Cotuit's back in the field for the second inning of work behind Sean Sullivan. He worked around a 2-out double in the first against Bourne, and he's up against 5, 6, and 7 in the Braves lineup here. Jared Poland, the DH, Kyle Hess, the right fielder, and then Nick Bruiser, the first baseman at the plate. Hope you're having a nice and safe, what is it today, Tuesday, right? It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday from Lowell Park. Hope you survived the Cape tornadoes the last couple of nights. Did you survive, Aram?
I did. Went down to the basement. A little eerie, but fortunately not too bad. It was just an hour or two of some hard rain and lightning.
We made it out alive, and somehow we were able to get this game in. First pitch to Jared Poland, a fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. Poland, the DH out of Louisville, 14 hits and 42 at-bats, just 4 driven in. 2-0 Kettleers in the top of 2. Sean Sullivan quick to the plate with the 0-1. A little tapper right in front of shortstop. Oviedo grounds in, scoops it up, and throws a little low. Good pick by McWhorter for out number 1. Adam Oviedo makes a nice play on the run from shortstop. Leadoff batter retired here in the second. Kyle Hess, the next man up for Bourne. He bats from the left side, 211 hitter with a home run and 5 driven in. Rocking the red high socks on the gray pants today. Native of Mount Joy, PA, goes to Pitt. First pitch fastball from Sullivan outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Expecting an abbreviated game today. Obviously no lights at Lowell Park. Cloudy sky overhead. Wind's blowing in a little bit. A lot more chilly as well. Temperatures dropping below 70 at first pitch of this one.
With how quickly Sean Sullivan works, though, wouldn't be surprised if we get a few extra innings in here. The sun's starting to peer out a little bit. This game could have some nice pace to it.
1-1 home. Fastball called for a strike at the knees. Sully gets ahead, 1-2 on the batter and Hess. Looks like it could be an old-fashioned Little League game. 6 innings perhaps, that's what Coach told us beforehand. 1-2, swing and a miss. Good bite on a slider, down and away. And Hess is retired for out number 2 here in the second. Sullivan with his second strikeout of this ball game. Has to be a 5-inning game for it to register as an official game. That's the plan. Both managers probably made that clear between the two of them, along with the umpires before the game in their little home plate meeting. Nick Bruiser, a quick bouncer to short. Oviedo picks at the knees and throws over to McWhorter for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Sean Sullivan on the mound. And it's a quick 2 innings for him on the mound. We played 1.5, and the Kettleers lead it 2-0 over Bourne. We'll be back in a minute. Cotuit's at the plate on the other side of this break on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Second inning over Bourne. Kettleers at the plate here with Christian Robinson, Cody Pasek, and Adam Oviedo. 7, 8, and 9 due up. Joey Loperfido's 2-out, 2-run double, powering the Kettleers so far. Bottom of the order up against the big left-hander Nick Dumkowski. Wind up in the first pitch to Robinson, fouled back for strike 1. Pretty miniature crowd here at Lowell Park today. Although some of the third base grandstand has filled up. It was supposed to be Youth Day beforehand, so some of the campers and Little Kettleer fans got to go on the field quickly. Another foul ball on the left side, 0-2. Looks like somebody caught it. Didn't quite see it. Did you see it, Arm?
A nice left-handed one-hand grab out there at the back of the grandstand.
Well done. Looks like it was somebody in the upper rows as well. 0-2, waving a miss. Got him on a fastball at the knees. And Dumkowski strikes out Robinson for his second of the game. That's out number 1 here in the bottom of the second.
It looks like word's starting to get around town in Cotuit that there's a ball game today, because you mentioned it was a light crowd, but it seems like people are starting to trickle in from the parking lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see the grandstand filled up by the end of the second.
1 out, base is empty. Bottom 2, here's Cody Pasek with the Kettleers up 2-0. First pitch from Dumkowski, roped foul past first base. 0-1 on the All-Star from Cotuit. Pasek 255 at the plate so far. 5 driven in the regular season. He was one of the standout stories on Sunday in Orleans. 1 for 2 with a home run. His first home run of this entire season. He did not have an extra base hit coming into the All-Star game, but he came up to the plate and ripped it over the right field fence in the 5th inning to give the West team a 2-1 lead. A 1, fastball on the outside corner to get ahead, 0-2 on Pasek. What a moment it was. Hit it right where his family was sitting as well. You could hear his parents screaming throughout the ballpark. A great moment for Pasek, who serves one into shallow left field. Will it drop? It does not. What a play by Jimmy Glowenke. Going back and laying out to dive and make the catch for out number 2.
What a play indeed. Over the third baseman Warren's head. Didn't have enough hang time for him to get it, but for Glowenke to sprint, cover that much ground, and go parallel there, diagonal, and make that grab, that was unbelievable.
Glowenke able to go back and extend and make the catch. What a play. It robs Pasek of a hit. And there are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. 2-0 Cotuit. Here's Adam Oviedo. Change up, down and out. 1 ball and no strikes on Adam. He's a .242 batter with 3 home runs. 16 runs batted in so far. 4 for his last 6 at the plate. Went 2 for 3 on Saturday in the loss against Hyannis. 1-0. Fastball chopped past third base, foul. 1-1. So Robinson struck out on 3 pitches. Pasek a fly out to the shortstop in shallow left field for out number 2 on 3 pitches. 1 ball and 1 strike on Adam Oviedo from the right side here. Base is empty, 2 away, 2-0 Kettleers in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Domkowski winds up and delivers. Fastball scoots inside at 91 miles an hour, 2 balls and 1 strike. Wind's blowing in a little bit. You can see the netting on the third base side, bending in towards the grandstand. Bourne plays the defense package straight up. 2-1 breaking ball outside, 3 balls and a strike on Oviedo.
Not only is it the first at-bat that he's fallen behind in an account, this is the first at-bat he actually threw a ball. Domkowski started off the ball game with 22 consecutive strikes.
Ay. 3-1. Well, you jinxed him. Fastball down at the ankles. A fine pitch walk to Oviedo. So Domkowski starts off as a strike-throwing machine against the first 8 hitters in this Cotuit order, but he walks the number 9 man with 2 outs in the 2nd and flips it back around to Nick Gonzalez with the Kettleers already leading 2-0.
You can be in the zone too much as a starting pitcher, as a pitcher in general, and it seemed to be the issue last inning. Couldn't put Loperfido away 0-2. He ends up doubling and plating 2, and that hurt him in the first.
First pitch to Gonzalez, fouled away, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. No balls and 1 strikes on Gonzalez. 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging back in the first. 2-0 Cotuit. Man on with 2 outs in the bottom of 2. Joey Loperfido with 2-run double to cap off the first. Oviedo leads at first, held on by Bruiser. 0-1, slashed back foul again. A quick 0-2 count on Gonzalez. Time called. Home plate umpire Mike Piantadosi wants a couple of new baseballs from one of the Kettleer bat boys. And Gonzalez gets back into the right-handed box. Oviedo hands on his thighs. Shimmies off first just a little more. Domkowski looks at him on the rubber, holds at the belt, 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball, hit on the ground to short. Good pick by Glowenke. And he goes a short way to Morissette at second base for out number 3. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on for Cotuit. And we have played 2 in the books at Lowell Park, and it's 2-0 Kettleers. We'll go back for the 3rd. Bourne's at the plate, Kettleers in the field, and Arms got the play-by-play when we return. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Time through the order here against Bourne. It's 8-9-1, Jake McKenzie, Robert Carmody, and then Cody Morissette at the top of the order. The left fielder McKenzie bats from the right side. He swings at the first pitch, a dribbler that'll just roll foul down the third base line. McKenzie, the 8-hitter, hitting .226 this summer, just 12 for 53. He's left the yard once and has driven in 5. Sean Sullivan's been cruising so far. Pumps in another strike. That one was a curveball. It's 0-2. Sullivan's just surrendered the 1 hit so far through his 2 innings. The 0-2. Line drive. That's the second hit of the ball game into right field for a base hit. A single from Jake McKenzie. Now it's the catcher, Robert Carmody. He's a new guy here for the Braves. He's the catcher today. Only making his 5th at-bat so far this summer for Bourne. Carmody bats from the right side. Another guy from Hartford. His teammate on the mound today. Also his teammate in the spring, Domkowski, a senior from Hartford as well. Same recruiting class. They're both going into their final year over there. First pitch to Carmody. Strike on the outside corner. 89 from Sullivan. McKenzie on first base. 0-1 to the 9-hitter Carmody. Bourne does not steal many bases. Just 9 as a team so far this season. But Sullivan still picks off over to first. McKenzie's back. McKenzie pretty much the only threat to run on this ball club. He has 5 of those 9. And he had over 40 stolen bases at Fordham this spring. A team that led the entire country in swipes. The 0-1. That one misses low. 1-1. On deck is Cody Morissette. He's the leadoff hitter. He lined out to start this ball game off. It's 1-1 to the 9-hitter Carmody. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on a nice curveball. 1-2. Sullivan's only thrown 6 balls here in his first 25 pitches. Another guy that's been all around the strike zone. Both pitchers today. Pick off over to first. This time McKenzie has to dive back. McKenzie getting a little bit of an extra lead there at first base with 2 strikes. A decent count to run on with no outs. We'll see what he does here with the 9-hitter Carmody up. He stays put. Ground ball out to Gonzalez at second. He tags the runner McKenzie for 1. Throws it to first. And actually they're going to say no tag. John Putala, the third base umpire, says Gonzalez whiffed. Gonzalez was able to stick with the play and get the runner at first base out in Carmody. So McKenzie advances to second. It's 4-3, and there's 1 away.
Interesting play. Right when I saw Gonzalez going for it all there on a risk, I thought, ooh, that's going to be close. And it was close. He just wasn't able to reach out and get any of the jersey of McKenzie to record that out. Didn't really have much of a shuffling play over to short with Oviedo covering because it was a short ground ball.
So McKenzie gets into scoring position, and that ball's thrown into center field on a spin move from Sullivan, but no advance from McKenzie. We've seen that happen a handful of times this year, Sam. Coach Roberts wants his pitchers throwing to bases pretty much every time a base runner gets there. The first time he's going to throw a pitch, he typically throws a pickoff over there, and we've seen a few balls thrown into center field. Now it's Cody Morissette, the leadoff hitter. The first pitch, curveball, inside corner, strike 1. Morissette's 0 for 1. He lined out to start off the ball game to Christian Robinson in center field. On deck, Xavier Warren, then Judd Fabian. Oh, and 1 to Morissette, who bats from the left side. Sullivan comes set at the belt, checks on second base. Kicks and deals. This curveball came too far inside, so it's 1-1. Morissette hitting .333 this season with runners in scoring position. In 24 chances, he's driven in 10 runs. 1-1 curveball. That's a strike. 1-2. He's got an opportunity to drive in his 11th here. He's behind 1-2. The speedster McKenzie stands on second base. The 1-2. Curveball. That's flared out into center field. Going back and camping under it is Robinson. Attack from McKenzie, but he bluffs. The throw comes into third and no advancement there. So another fly out to center field for Cody Morissette. And there's 2 away here for Xavier Warren. The switch hitter Warren bats from the left side again against the right-handed pitcher Sean Sullivan. He struck out swinging on a nice changeup for the second out of the ball game in the first. Warren leads the Bourne Ball Club with 30 hits on the season. He's hitting .273 coming into this game. First pitch swing, and he fouls it out of play over the third base grandstand and towards the batting cages behind the Kettleer kitchen. First base is open, but this is a guy that Sullivan wants. Kettleer killer Jed Fabian waits on deck. He's got 1 of 2 hits in the ball game with a double. That also came in the first inning. Ahead 0-1 the pitch. Fastball inside, 1-1. Oviedo holding on McKenzie at second base, also shaded over a little bit for the left-handed hitting Warren. Nick Gonzalez plays a little bit deep at second base. Heels on the edge of the grass over there. 1-1, nice changeup, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him, 77 miles per hour. It's about a 12 mile per hour difference from his fastball that usually sits around 88 to 91. So Sullivan ahead 1-2, trying to strand McKenzie at second base and strike out Warren for the second time in as many chances. The pitch. Curveball just drops too low, 2-2. Warren's been a pretty tough guy to strike out this season. Striking out just under 20% of the time. The 2-2. Curveball stays too high. It's 3-2. So Sullivan couldn't locate on 3 straight breaking balls. Ahead in the count to Warren, and now it's full. McKenzie stands on second base. It's 2-0 in favor of the Kettleers. They got both runs on a Joey Loperfido double in the first. The payoff pitch. Chopper out to Nick Gonzalez. He scoops it up at the hip. Flips it over to first for out number 3. So Sean Sullivan strands a runner in scoring position. 1 hit. No runs, no errors, 1 left on. It's still 2-0 in favor of the Kettleers, and we go into the home half of the third. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Here at Lowell Park, bottom of the third inning, middle of the order for the Kets. It's Casey Schmidt, Arajanu, Mason McCorder, 2-3-4. They did a lot of the damage in the first inning that played to the 2 runs. Casey Schmidt single to start off a little rally. Arajanu followed suit. Then Joey Loperfido plated both of them with a double down the right field line rather. First pitch to Casey Schmidt. Misses in the dirt, 1-0. It was a changeup there from Domkowski. Schmidt blooped a single into center field in front of Judd Fabian. In the first inning, he's 1 for 1, getting a second look at Domkowski. Breaking ball pulled foul. Schmidt couldn't quite wait up on it. Just 76 on the gun there from the southpaw. Schmidt's been coming alive at the plate after a slow start for the Kettleers. And coming alive on the mound as well. The 1-1. Hard ground ball over to second base. Scooped up, thrown on to first for out number 1. Schmidt retired, and now it's a DH Arajanu. Switch hitter bats from the right side. He singled on the first pitch he saw in the first. Araj 5 for his last 8 since coming back from an injury. He tweaked his hamstring just a week ago. First pitch to Raj. Change up. Fouled back. 1-0. Or 0-1 rather. Raj hit his 5th home run of the season just a couple games ago as well. The power stroke coming back for the big switch hitter as he takes that one in the dirt. He competed in the home run derby. Represented the Kettleers. Was ultimately won by Tyler Hardman. Hardman tied for second in the league in home runs with Nick Gonzalez. He has 7. Nico Cavadas leads the way with 8 over at Harwich. 1-1 misses, or is a strike on the inside corner, 1-2. It's impressive that Cavadas has the 8 home runs and leads the Cape League. He plays in probably the hardest park besides Doran Park to go yard at over in Harwich. Broken bat. Nibbles up the middle. The throw on the run by the second baseman, Morissette. A good play to get a hobble to Rajanu that once again you think if he's 100% he probably beats that one out.
Yeah, his speed is his most underappreciated quality, and just have not been able to see him run as he has so far in the year, or at least in the early portion of the year. Both pitchers are humming along here, throwing a lot of strikes, getting ahead early, and getting a lot of quick outs.
Mason McCorder bends out of the way of an up and in curveball, 1-0. McCorder reached on a fielder's choice. They got a new trying to go into second. He replaced him at first. 1-0 misses down and away, 2-0. McCorder bats from the left side. And one of the hotter bats for the Kettleers as well. That curveball up and in. He limbos out of the way, and it's 3-0. McCorder 10 for his last 30. He's driven in 6 runs. He's ahead 3-0 on the southpaw Domkowski. The 3-0 pitch. Taken all the way. That's a strike right down the middle, and it's 3-1. Kettleers have been pretty consistent on the offensive side of things. 268 in their last 10 games. 261 in their last 5. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and in. 3-2. Kettleers come into the ball game hitting .254. That's 3rd in the Cape League. Bourne second to last with a .239 batting average. The payoff pitch is fouled away. Bourne has scored the least runs in the entire league as well, just 116. And the sun begins to peer out here through the clouds. The first time we've seen some sunshine here at Lowell Park. It's got to feel good if you're the fans here or the players. It's been a little chilly. 3-2 fouled away again, just about the same spot over the third base grandstand. Blue skies starting to show as well. And there are no other games going on right now in the entire Cape League. Wareham was final over YD. They won 3-2. But that was a game that started at noon. The 3-2. Fouled away. and off of a truck into the parking lot. 3 payoff pitches have been spoiled away by McWhorter here. He's battling with Dumkowski.
Too many similar names on this Bourne pitching staff.
A lot of skis. The 3-2. Check swing on a slider outside, but he wasn't able to hold up. Dumkowski got him. And that's strike 3 in the 3rd out of the inning. So he works a 1-2-3 third and keeps the score at 2-0 as we go into the 4th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Sullivan has 3 scoreless under his belt now. Middle of the order gets their second look at the right-hander. It's Judd Fabian, Jimmy Golenke, and Jared Poland, 3-4-5. Judd Fabian has the only extra base hit for the Braves so far. He doubled in the 1st inning. Sullivan was able to strand him at second by retiring Golenke to end the 1st. First pitch fastball, strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Fabian's been the Kettleer killer this year. 7 hits against the Kettleers, 4 of them extra base hits, 3 of them home runs. Curveball misses up and out, 1-1. Fabian, one of the All-Stars for the Braves. He played at Eldridge Park just a couple days ago. Curveball misses low. That was a game you called, Sam. Had to be a lot of fun. Apparently he was beat over the head on a ball, ended up surrendering and inside the park home run Little League style on a triple.
Yeah, that was a big turning point in the game.
Curveball misses low, 3-1.
It was in the 7th inning. The East team kind of needed to wake up on offense, and Gage Workman drove it over the head of Fabian in deep center field, and he was playing maybe a little too far in, and it was a Little League inside the Parker.
Line drive out into left field. Shavers comes in and makes the grab, 1 out.
But nevertheless, Workman, who was named co-MVP of that game, along with his Brewster teammate Brett Auerbach, who had the game-winning RBI single and went 3 for 3 himself, he was a huge turning point in that game, Workman. He really made a couple of good plays, had a triple to lead off the 9th, in which the East walked it off. It was a really fun game, back-and-forth game, and unfortunately you would have liked to see the West win it, but, you know, Cotuit represented well, and we got to see a great moment from Cody Pasek, too.
Cody Pasek catches a fastball on the outside corner there, strike 1. Pasek homered. His only extra base hit of the season came in the All-Star game. He left the yard at Eldridge Park. That's lined out into center or right field. Loperfido going back towards the wall, drifting, and makes the grab for out number 2.
It was such a beautiful moment with Pasek's family in the right field bleachers, or not even bleachers, just set up right behind the fence, and for them to be right where that ball landed, and to see him do that on a special day, on what's already been a special summer for him, not only to get to Cotuit and make the team that he grew up around and was so close to, but to be an all-star and have a hit like that in that game. It was the ultimate night for him.
The ball actually sailed right over his family's head over there in right field. The 0-1, that's flied out into right center field, but Perfito camps under it. And 3 flyouts, quick work of Bourne here for Sean Sullivan through 4. It's still 2-0. We'll go into the home half of the 4th. Kettleers lead here at Lowell Park. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Thanks to Sean Sullivan and Nick Dumkowski working quickly. It's the bottom of the 4th. We haven't even gotten an hour under our belt. We are cruising here. Middle of the order, it's Joey Loperfido, Parker Chavers, Christian Robinson, 5-6-7. Loperfido doubled in the first inning, plated 2 with 2 away. That's the difference in this game. Still stands at 2-0 in favor of the Kettleers. It was an 0-2 hanging curveball that he was able to yank down the right field line. Plated 2, he advanced to third on the play at the plate. McCorder just beat the tag, slotting in at home. First pitch changeup misses low and in. Loperfido takes. Those 2 RBI gave Loperfido his 7th and 8th on the summer. This is his 20th game. He started to swing a pretty hot bat. The 1-0. Line drive out into left center field. That'll get down. That could be extra bases. Rounding first, going into second is Loperfido. He coasts into second with his second double of the ball game.
This time he hits it to the opposite field. A great job by Loperfido. I was just thinking back in the last inning defensively. Man, he looks like he's getting more comfortable out there on right. Just such an athlete, moves to the ball so smoothly. And that time he's able to poke it into the opposite left center field gap. Pick up another double. And a good start for this Kettleer offense trying to build on a 2-0 advantage.
Loperfido played second base this entire season for Duke. Played first base as a freshman. He feels that he projects as an outfielder at the next level. That's what he's been told, and that's what scouts feel as well. Wanted to get some experience out here this summer playing outfield. First pitch to Parker Chavers, a strike at the knees. He has a chance to play the outfield this coming spring for the Blue Devils as well. They have some spots opening up. He wants to play out there. Certainly has the power to play a corner outfield position. 0-1, Chavers squares to bunt, pulls it back and misses low, 1-1. Chavers popped out to third base in his first at-bat. That ended the first inning. Chavers second on the team with 5 home runs. He's tied with Casey Schmidt. Squares to bunt again. This one gets down, a fair ball. The play by Carmody just beats a hustling Chavers at first base, but he does his job, sacking Loperfido over to third. So Chavers picks up the sacrifice. Loperfido gets to third, and Harvey Shapiro's out to go talk to his pitcher Dumkowski. There's no action in the Bourne bullpen, so just a conversation. A game plan against Christian Robinson, who struck out in his first at-bat. Robinson takes a long stare at the barrel of his bat. It's actually an eye test. A little eye exercise, rather. Something he does, his entire Stanford team does, as he lines a shot, a one-hop skip and a pick by the first baseman there, Bruiser, who takes it himself. But more on that, there's two little dots on the bat. It's a focusing exercise that his coach at Stanford has all the players do, and it really helps you lock in on the ball as it comes in from the mound. He hit that one hard to first base, and you see him take a long stare at that barrel every time.
Yeah, pretty neat to see him do that. We were wondering about what he was doing with that, and then we finally figured it out, and pretty nice exercise. Was not expecting that, that's for sure.
First pitch to Pasek, a strike, 0-1. Not something I've ever seen before. I'm not sure about you, Sam, but obviously eyesight's a big factor in hitting a baseball. It looks like an aspirin pill when you get to this level coming at you, 90 miles per hour. That one's popped up into center field. Should be playable for Fabian, who comes in. He's called off by McKenzie in left, who makes the grab for out number 3. So the Kettleers can't do anything about a leadoff double by Joey Loperfido. They end up stranding him at third base, and it's still 2-0 as we go into the 5th. Sam Niederman will take over the play-by-play duties. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Cotuit for the top of the 5th inning. Kettleers on top of the Bourne Braves, 2-0. Glad that you're along with us on a rainy Tuesday in Cape Cod. Kettleers and Bourne getting this game underway, and it looks like we're about to finish up this game. Could even get a full 9 innings. The sun peeked out around the clouds a little bit ago. Now it's covered up, but you can still see some of that yellow glare coming out from behind the third base side. This game moving along quickly thanks to some good pitching. Sean Sullivan, 4 scoreless innings under his belt so far. He's only allowed 2 hits and has struck out 2. He's up against the bottom part of the Bourne order here. Kyle Hess, Nick Bruiser, and then Jake McKenzie. 6, 7, and 8 are what's been so impressive about Sullivan again.
Love how much he's pounding the zone, just pouring strikes in, and he's working so quickly. Feels like he catches a ball and he's already towing the rubber, ready to pitch again, and that's great for your defense. It's great to keep some rhythm going. A lot of rhythm in pitching. You just keep pumping in the strikes. And he looks like he's just dancing out there on the mound.
2-0 Cotuit, top of the 5th inning. Let's see if Sully can continue to dance, and he gets a strike on the outside corner to start off on Kyle Hess. 0-1. Hess, a left-handed bat out of Pitt, 0 for 1 today. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd. 0-1, change-up fouled back into the parking lot. No balls and 2 strikes. Casey Schmidt played in on the grass at third base for the first 2 pitches of that at-bat. Now he backs up to normal depth with an 0-2 count. Pitch, breaking ball, nipped back foul. Hess stays alive. Just a sophomore at Pitt. His cousin, a former big leaguer, Chris Heisey, had an 8-year pro career. Most of that spent in Cincinnati with the Red Legs. Sullivan shakes off Pasek, now winds up, 0-2. Hard fastball, checked his swing, got him, just a little upstairs. Hess goes around on the plane, and Sullivan picks up a strikeout to lead off the 5th. One man down, top of the 5th, base is empty. Here's Nick Bruiser, the first baseman out of Stanford, a right-handed batter. 0 for 1 with a ground out to shortstop. First pitch from Sullivan. Slider fouled back into the screen. It's 0-1. Cotuit took the lead in the first inning. Joey Loperfido was down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes, but then poked a double down the right field line that scored runners from first and third. 0-1. Fastball whipped in on the outside part of the plate for a strike. 0-2. Bourne has had just a couple of base runners. One man stranded at second in the first and the third. 0-2 breaking ball. Another check swing appeal, this time to first base. And John Jordan says he did not go around. It's 1-2. 2-0 Kettleers, top of 5. 1 out, nobody aboard. 1-2. Breaking ball popped up right behind home plate. Pasek turns and looks at it go over to the press box out of play. The Kettleers have played Bourne 5 times this season. Cotuit has beaten them 3 out of those 5 matchups. It began at Lowell Park in the beginning of July when Joe Nahas went 6 innings, only allowing 1 run, and struck out 6 en route to a 4-1 win. 1-2 slider off the plate, 2-2 on Bruiser. Then the Kettleers made it 2 in a row with an 8-6 win on the road. Bourne beat Cotuit once here, 6-4. Judd Fabian had 2 home runs that day. Line shot into shallow center field. Robinson tried to dive for it. He's unable to get it. It rolls past him and sticks on the grass, and Bruiser coasts in with a 1-out hit all the way up to second base. You can mark it as a hit. Robinson with a diving effort to try and rob his Stanford teammate, but instead it drops down for the third base hit of the game for Bourne.
And unfortunately, that's going to be a double. He sold out for it, did Robinson in center, but it trickles by him and able to coast into second base there. That's what comes with the territory of laying out. It's all or nothing, and unfortunately, Robinson came up with nothing there.
Those two always share a moment before the game when Cotuit and Bourne get together, and they bumped into each other on the way out of the bathroom today. A little playful nudging between them. It's always good to see the college teammates get together throughout the Summer League circuit, especially here on the Cape. And that little play right there, I'm sure, will be talked about for a long time when they get back to Palo Alto in the fall, that's for sure. A double by Bruiser. He's on second with 1 out. 0-1 to McKenzie. Fastball just below the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 Cotuit in the top of the 5th inning. Kettleers in the home whites, maroon pinstripes underneath an overcast sky with a little bit of sun trying to burst through the clouds. Bourne in the road blues on gray pants trimmed in red. 1-1 out of the stretch. Line down the third base line, but it's a foul ball. 1-2 on McKenzie. McKenzie 1 for 1, singled back into second to lead off the inning. Excuse me, that was a third, and he was stranded on second base. Kettleers in front thanks to Loperfido's 2-run double in the first. Sullivan trying to strand a 1-out base runner at second base and Bruiser. 1-2 breaking pitch. Just tipped back foul. Still 1-2 on McKenzie. Kettleers are 1-1 in their last 2 meetings against Bourne. Cotuit shut out Bourne at Doran Park just a couple weeks ago. A 5-0 win thanks to Zach McCambly and Casey Schmidt combining for 12 strikeouts. Bourne beat the Kettleers here the last time at Lowell Park last Monday, 3-2. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball upstairs. And Sullivan picks up out number 2 on his 4th strikeout of this game here in the 5th. McKenzie down on strikes. Sullivan climbed the ladder with an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 outs for Bourne in the top of the 5th inning. Bruiser remains on second base with the next batter at the plate, Robert Carmody. Number 9 batting catcher, 0 for 1 with a ground out to second base. First pitch, a fastball in there at the middle of the plate. 91 miles an hour for a strike. 0-1 to the Hartford catcher. He's just 1 for 5 in 3 games played. Went 1 for 2 in his first start against Wareham last Saturday. Sullivan misses upstairs with a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bourne is safe right now in 4th place of the West Division, carrying a 13-20 record into this one. Bourne 6.5 games up on Hyannis for that final playoff spot with just over 10 to go. Breaking ball in there at the belt for a strike. Sullivan gets ahead of Carmody, 1 for 2. Cotuit's in the thick of the division championship race. Falmouth has a game on the Kettleers. The Kettleers have already clinched a playoff spot. Man on second with 2 away, 1-2. Hack and a miss on a fastball upstairs. Sean Sullivan with 3 Ks in the 5th, to work around the one-out double by Nick Bruiser. And the Kettleers get out of the inning. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one man left in scoring position. And we're on to the bottom of the fifth. Cotuit at the plate when we return. 2-0 Good Guys on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. Bottom of the fifth inning. Kettleers lead it 2-0 over Bourne. Bottom of the order due up 9-1-2. Adam Oviedo, Nick Gonzalez, and then Casey Schmidt against the lefty from Hartford University, Nick Domkowski. He's tossed 4 really efficient innings, although he's allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Joey Loperfido's 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run double back in the first. The difference for Cotuit so far. Adam Oviedo steps in from the right side. 0 for 0. He walked back in the second inning. Bourne plays him straight up on the infield. Domkowski winds up and delivers. Fastball skied in the air. Left side of the infield. Glowenke walks under it and makes the grab for out number 1. Much easier catch for the shortstop out of Dallas Baptist, who robbed Cody Pasek of a single in shallow left field back in the second inning. Great diving catch. You think that one has any shot at SportsCenter?
That one could. It really could. It depends. It really depends on how good the day is in terms of the MLB. But we always have a shot here in the Cape if it's a slow day in the bigs. They'll look anywhere for a good play. And, I mean, if that was made in the big leagues, that's a lock for a top 5 play.
One down, base is clear for Nick Gonzalez, who shows bunt and sweeps it back. Looking at a changeup low for ball 1. Gonzalez 0 for 2, bounced into a fielder's choice to end the second. 2-0 Kettleers with 1 out in the fifth. Domkowski on the way with a 1-0. Fastball just at the shins. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, last night, Brewster got on SportsCenter again for a triple play, a 5-4-3 triple play. Did you see that?
I actually missed that.
I couldn't really see it. The video was a little zoomed out, but it started at third base with a force out, and it capped it off. Curveball dropped in on the outside corner, 2-1 on Gonzalez. I believe it was Gage Workman who started that play again. He was also on SportsCenter earlier in the season for making a nice play at shortstop going back into the outfield for a catch. 2-1 fastball pumped into center field. Fabian jogs in and makes the letter high grab for out number 2. But good for Brewster. They're still battling right now on the outside looking in the East in 5th place. A game and a half back of Harwich for that final playoff spot. Cape League has had a couple of good plays this summer, but Brewster's taking all the spotlight with the SC Top 10 hashtag. You got to find a way to just get it in front of the right people and spread the heck out of it on Twitter. I think that's the key.
Timing and luck.
Casey Schmidt hacks through a fastball for strike 1. Schmidt's 1 for 2 today with a single and a run scored in the first, grounded out to second in the third. 2-0 Cotuit, bottom of the fifth with 2 outs and the base is empty. It's the ESPN assignment desk, right?
They have people literally that just sit in a room and do that all day.
0-1. Domkowski splits the heart of the plate with a fastball to get ahead, 0-2. That'd be a pretty cool job.
Oh, that'd be fun. I feel like it almost would get a little tedious at times, though.
That's true. You'd be in Bristol. You'd be at the mothership. Hopefully the room's not too dark, but it'd be pretty cool. 0-2. Fastball tipped back, and that's off the catcher Carmody, and hopefully he's okay. He keels over for a second and sheds his mask. Home plate umpire Mark Piantadosi gives him the courtesy and takes a new baseball out to nip Domkowski. Domkowski, the left-hander, signaled to his catcher to make sure he was okay with a thumbs up. A teammate here in Bourne and a teammate back in the spring at Hartford U. Same place that their manager, Harvey Shapiro, has a connection to. Once coached over in Hartford for a good period of time. Looks like Carmody's okay. Still a no ball and 2-strike count on Schmidt. 2-0 Kettleers, bottom of the 5th inning. Nobody on base with 2 outs. Domkowski offset to the third base side. He winds up and lets it fly. Fastball knocked into the air. Foul ground past first base. And Bruiser flags it down for out number 3. His bullpen celebrates up the right field line. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for the Kettleers at the plate here in the bottom of the 5th. On to the 6th. 2-0 Cotuit. We'll be right back in just a moment on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Holds at 2-0 in favor of the Kettleers here as we start the 6th inning. We're at Lowell Park, a home game that we didn't think we'd get in today. The only game going on right now in the entire Cape. Wareham is final over YD 3-2, a game that started at 12. Everything else has been canceled. First pitch from Sean Sullivan, a breaking ball, strike at the knees. To top of the order. 4th time around now already. Or 3rd time around, rather. As that kicks away 1-1. Cody Morissette gets his 3rd look at Sean Sullivan. He's 0 for 2. He's flown out to center both times. Fastball strike on the inside corner, 1-2. Sullivan has been cruising. He's only surrendered 3 hits, no runs. The 1-2. That's flared. Tailing and out of play on the left field line. Just out of the reach of Casey Schmidt, who ran over into foul territory at 3rd base. Sullivan has pumped in 45 strikes, just 17 balls. Domkowski hasn't been much worse in terms of strike efficiency. He's pumped in 48 strikes. He's been even better, actually. And only 13 balls. That's lifted out into right field, playable for Loper Fido, who drifts under it and makes a grab right by the foul line for out number 1.
Both pitchers have filled up the zone, as you mentioned, Aaron, and really both pitchers have worked at the pace that they like. It was just a clutch 2-strike hit by Loper Fido that's made the difference for the Kettleers. And when you got Sullivan on the mound, you know you can bank on him for at least 4 innings. But it looks like he's a couple outs away from making it 6 and turning it over to a bullpen that we know is scheduled with Matt Mervis and Casey Schmidt. That's a tough combo to knock down.
First pitch to Warren, fouled away and off of the roof of the Kettleer kitchen over there. Warren's 0 for 2. He struck out in the first, grounded out in the third. The switch hitter from the left side. Sullivan's only thrown 65 pitches. That 65th pitch is lined out into center field. This time Robinson dives and makes the catch. So second try this time, Robinson steals a hit. And Warren falls to 0 for 3 on the game.
There you go, Christian Robinson. He was able to make the play that time. You know, the first one against his teammate of Stanford and Nick Bruiser just wasn't meant to be, I guess, but the baseball gods let him get a second chance, and he made the most of it. A good job to read that ball and then come in and rob Warren of a hit.
Sullivan still cruising. First pitch to Fabian, a strike, 0-1. Fabian's 1 for 2. He doubled in the first inning, flew out in the fourth. The 0-1. That one crowds him inside, 1-1. The outfielder from the University of Florida, just a sophomore, an all-star this season. He played center field for the East this past week over at Eldridge Park as that curveball gets the outer half. It's 1-2. It's been mostly a fastball, curveball mix so far for Sullivan. Working quickly, the 1-2. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Sean Sullivan, quick work with Bourne here in the 6th, the 1-2-3 inning, striking out Fabian to end it. And we'll go into the bottom of the 6th. Kettleers try to add to their 2-run lead. It's 2-0 here at Lowell Park. For both Bourne and Cotuit, 6th inning, bottom of the 6th, the Rajanu, the switch hitter from the right side against Nick Dumkowski, the third time he gets a look at him. Both Dumkowski and Sullivan have been really good. Swing and a miss at a changeup. Dumkowski was touched up for a pair of runs in the first. Has held the Kettleers scoreless since. Just 7 hits combined by the two teams. The Kettleers have the slight edge with 4. Line drive from Anu. That'll fall into right field for a base hit. His second of the ball game.
The one key for hitters for Cotuit so far this summer and Mike Roberts' arm has been shortening up their swing. And I just saw a nice, really short swing from Araj Anu there. Was really able to stay back and get that hand action, as Coach likes to say. And that's been a big key for him. And it's good to see him shorten up and get a base hit instead of having to try and exert so much force for a home run every time.
And that's a great point, Sam. Araj actually hit a breaking ball there. He's been a fastball hunter all season long. Sat back on that breaking ball, drove it the other way, but his day will be done. He has looked hobbled today when he runs the bases, so Cam Hill will come in and run for him. Coach Roberts deciding to err on the side of caution. Araj swinging a good bat, but definitely does not look 100% when he tries to motor around the bases. Cam Hill, one of the faster players on this Kettleer team, and a sure-handed outfielder, will be the defensive replacement most likely. We'll see where he slides in. So now it's Mason McCorder. He's 0 for 2. He did score on a fielder's choice in the first. He pops up a bunt, and it gets out of play onto the first base grandstand, 0-1. McWhorter came into this game 10 for his last 30. Hitting .315 on the season, 17 for 54. He's driven in 11. Still looking for his first home run of the summer. He had 15 at Georgia Southern this spring. A lefty-on-lefty matchup between Domkowski and McWhorter. Infield playing straight up, middle of the infield slightly up the middle for the double play. The 0-1, Cam Hill on the move. It looks like it's a hit and run, and he eats up Bruiser at first, but he's able to pick it, stumbles over to first base, and tags the bag for the out. And the bullpen over there at Bourne goes nuts. A really unusual play there. A hard ground ball with some topspin, ate up Bruiser. It kicked up in the air. He turned around, gloved it, tried to go towards first base, started stumbling on his hands and knees, basically bear crawled to the bag, outstretched his arm, and tagged the bag with his glove to get Mason McWhorter.
That is a scrappy play in every sense by Bruiser. I can't believe I just saw that. He army crawled to the bag to make that play. I don't know how he was able to stick with it after the initial hit, but great hustle by him to at least get one out.
Cam Hill does advance to scoring position now, still one away. First pitch to Loperfido, misses away. Loperfido's had a nice day so far against Domkowski. He's had the best of this lefty-lefty matchup, a pair of doubles with 2 runs driven in. That's the only 2 extra base hits for the Kettleers in this ballgame. A chance to play to third run here. That one misses away. First base is open. You wonder how much Domkowski wants to pitch to Loperfido, who's really had his number. Loperfido 2 for 2 with his 3rd and 4th doubles of the season. Cam Hill on second base has the speed to score on a base hit. It's 2-0 to the left-handed hitter. That's lined into right field, sinking, and that'll fall for a base hit. Cam Hill, a big turnaround third, but Holby held up, and Joey Loperfido is 3 for 3.
3 for 3 indeed. What a day at the plate for Loperfido so far. 2-run double to the left center alley, an opposite field hit, and that time he's able to yank a single into right field just in front of Hess to give the Kettleers another chance at adding on to their 2-run lead.
So now it's Parker Chavers. He's going to get a chance to swing it away here. He picked up his first sacrifice bunt of the summer in his last at-bat, a good one down the third base line, which advanced Loperfido over to third after he led the inning off with a double. Unfortunately, the Kettleers could not get Loperfido in. Christian Robinson was retired, and so was Cody Pasek to end that inning. But now a chance for Parker Chavers, but it looks like Harvey Shapiro is going to go out and get his left-handed pitcher. There's some action in the bullpen, and it looks like a right-hander that's ready to come out of the gate and take the ball from Domkowski and Harvey Shapiro. We'll have more information on that right-hander when we come back from this brief break. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball. Braves is Braxton Rogsby, a right-hander. He's making his second appearance of the year. His only appearance, he struck out the side in one inning. He's from the University of Pittsburgh. Not the regular University of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown. He's thrown 56 innings this past spring, a 4.95 ERA. He struck out 67 and walked 33. So a second appearance for the big right-handed pitcher, 6'3", 225 pounds. And he gets Parker Chavers, the left-handed hitter. Chavers was 0 for 2 against the lefty Dumkowski, whose book is not yet closed. He's responsible for the runners on the corners with 1 out, but he went 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs so far, walked 1 and struck out 3. The first pitch from Roxby. A swing from Chavers, fouled straight back and out of play into the parking lot. Chavers bats from the left side. Loperfido on first base. He singled. Cam Hill on third. He pinch ran for Araj Anu at first. Anu had singled. Came out of the ball game still nursing a hamstring injury. Coach Roberts looked like he was erring on the side of caution. Didn't look like Anu re-aggravated it. Broken bat, a foul ball once again into the parking lot. Chavers will go get a new piece of wood. So Roxby making his second appearance of the summer. One of the later arrivals. Around the time of the summer here where we start seeing an influx of new arms for the final push. The final postseason push. A lot of other pitchers that have been here since June, they hit their innings limits, or their coaches will say it's time to come home. Some guys start to just get a little fatigued, whatever it is. Pitchers seem to be the first to go, and you'll see some new reinforcements. The Kettleers have had a couple of their own. So it's 0-2 to Chavers here. The infield is back. He's looking for something to put in play and make it a 3-0 lead here for Cotuit. 1 away. The 0-2 misses away. 94 on the gun there from Roxby. Middle of the infield playing for 2. Chavers has some speed. They'll have to turn it quickly. Roxby comes set. Rocks back and forth. Kicks and deals a 1-2. Strike 3 got him looking on the outside corner. And that's a big second out here for Bourne. Roxby retires the first batter he faces. And he struck out all 4 batters he's faced so far this summer.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive for Roxby. Hey, from Johnstown, PA, you pit on the outskirts of Pittsburgh and you get a chance to come out to the Cape League and make a name for yourself. Well, hey, go after it. And he just did a great job there getting Chavers on the outside corner for out number 2.
So Robinson now the last chance to try and salvage a run here. First pitch, 93-mile-per-hour fastball on the outer half, strike 1. Robinson's 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground out. He had a chance to plate a run in the 4th inning. Chavers bunts it over Loperfido to third with 1 out. And he grounded out to first base unassisted. An early break there from Loperfido. He's stuck in between first and second. Cam Hill coming home. The throw is in time. The tag gets him out. And a tough collision at home plate. We'll see if Cam Hill's all right. He looks like he got his bell rung a little bit. Nice of Carmody, the catcher, to check on him. He was okay. And it looked like Loperfido was hung up in between bases. Hill tried to score, and nothing doing there. So the Kettleers strand another. They cannot advance their lead. It's still 2-0 as we go into the 7th. We'll see if Sean Sullivan comes back out. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Who's back out on the mound? It's Sean Sullivan working his 7th inning. 1 out here, and he would top his season high of 6 innings pitched. He's just been cruising so far, and he gets the middle of the order. It's Jimmy Golenke, Jared Poland, and Kyle Hess. First pitch, big swing, and it's fouled away out of play. Golenke's 0 for 2. He grounded out in the first, flew out in the fourth. He gets his third look at the right-hander who has just been dazzling today. He's only surrendered 3 hits in his 7 innings, has not given up a single run, and he's struck out 6. That one misses away. It's 1-1. Golenke bats from the right side, a big leg kick, and a spinning top swing there. Almost dug himself into the ground. A nice curveball that had him off balance, and it's 1-2. Golenke second on his ball club in hits. He's got 28. Came into the game hitting .283 with 12 RBI. 1 home run. As he crushes one down the left field line, a fair ball. Whole round first and coast into second standing up with a leadoff double. Oh. And actually, Hobie thrown out. What a throw. Down the line, he thought he had it secured there at second base, and Chavers just threw him out. A casual jog in there, and he was surprised by that throw from the corner.
Yeah, it was a perfect throw. Lowe and Gonzalez with an effortless, graceful tag on the end of it. Great defense by the Kettleers. That's one of the underrated reasons why Sullivan has pitched 6 1/3 innings so far for a season high. His defense has backed him up nicely. Chavers a nice throw there. We had Robinson with a diving catch earlier, and it's just been a clean ball game for the Kettleers in the field.
Check swing by Jared Poland, but it's a called strike. 0-1. That's lifted out into right field. Perfito gives it a few steps back towards the wall, comes in, makes the grab. So 2 outs now. A great throw by Chavers to retire Jimmy Golenke, who tried to extend that single into a double. And now it's 2 up, 2 down, and Kyle Hess at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks. So Sean Sullivan now has the longest outing of any Kettleer this summer. Already 6 2/3. The 1-0. Fouled straight back, 1-1. On deck is Nick Bruiser. Sullivan's only thrown 77 pitches. 57 of them strikes. That one misses just below the knees. 2-1.
You wonder if he's able to get the batter out in the next couple of pitches. Would Mike Roberts even consider stretching him to the 8th?
2-1. Swing and a miss on a changeup. Well, Coach Roberts said in the pregame interview he was only game planning for 5 innings. He was ready to go to Mervis early. You expect that could be the first guy out. He said he might go to Casey to close it out. 2-2 fouled away. We'll do it again. Depends what his game plan is going forward. We know that off days are very scarce as we go forward. Thursday no longer an off day. That'll be a makeup with Harwich here at Lowell Park. If you can get another one out of your starting pitcher, doesn't make much of a difference for him. He's still going to pitch every 5th day. Could try and stretch one more out. 2-2 fouled away. Count remains at 2s. He's just encroaching here on 80 pitches.
Well, the other thing is, too, that Bourne has looked helpless at the plate. Only 3 hits so far.
My prediction is this might do it. We rarely see a starter go over 80. That one's fouled away, and this little battle between him and Hess isn't helping the case.
The last time a Cotuit Kettleer pitcher went a complete game, it was Zane Collins back in 2017, and that scorecard is framed in the Kettleer trophy case just up the third base side.
2-2 fouled away. We'll do a 5th 2-2 here.
Not saying that this will be a complete game, but as you want to talk deep outings from a Cotuit starter, that's the most recent one on record.
And he surrendered 2 runs, if I'm not mistaken, but that scorecard's immortalized. 2-2 popped up. That should be playable. Parker Chavers comes in, makes the grab right behind Oviedo at shortstop. And that's 7 shutout innings for the youngster Sean Sullivan, the sophomore from Cal. We'll see if his day's done. If it isn't, he's going to come out for an eighth. If it is, he was fantastic. We'll go into the home half of the seventh. Kettleers try to add to their 2-0 lead. Half of the seventh, the score is still 2-0 as it has been since the bottom of the first. The Kettleers scored both those runs on a Joey Loperfido double. That's been the difference. And it's Christian Robinson, Cody Pasek, Adam Oviedo, 7-8-9. Robinson was left standing in the batter's box after Loperfido was picked off at first. Cam Hill tried to come home from third with Loperfido in the pickle, and they gunned him down at home to end the inning. So now he gets a fresh count. And another look at Braxton Roxby, the reliever. First pitch fastball, 92, but it misses away. And that means Nick Domkowski's line is closed. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. The 1-0 to Robinson. He crushes one high in the air, tailing foul and out of play. Way ahead of that 93-mile-per-hour fastball up and in, so it's 1-1. Sean Sullivan looks like his day is done. He shook Coach Roberts' hand as he arrived to the dugout after retiring the last out in the top of the seventh. 7 shutout innings from the right-hander from Cal. Fastball up and out, 2-1. If that's it for Sullivan, he went 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, and struck out 6. He's in line for the victory if the Kettleers can preserve this 2-run lead. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. A nice change up there from Roxby. It's 2-2. Robinson 0 for 2. He had an opportunity to bring in a run and make it 3-0 Kettleers with a runner on third, 1 out. He grounded out to first base unassisted. Bruiser took it himself and could not get the run in. Loperfido from third. 2-2 misses away. It's 3-2. Coach Mike Roberts at third base cheering on his outfielder Christian Robinson, telling him to be a leadoff guy. Try and get on base here with a full count. The payoff pitch from Roxby. Pulled foul down the first base line. Roxby exclusively works out of the stretch. On deck is Cody Pasek. He's 0 for 2. Roxby crouches over his waist, dangles that arm with the ball in his hand, then comes set right above the shoulders, rocking back and forth, ready for the second payoff. Got him looking on the outside corner, a backdoor slider there, a great pitch, and there's 1 away.
Well, all of the 5 outs that Braxton Roxby has recorded in his Cape League young career, all strikeouts.
5 for 5 so far, Sam. Like you said, can't start your summer much better if you're Braxton Roxby. Looking to make it 6 in a row, and now it's Cody Pasek. Fastball crowds him inside, 1-0. Roxby, a max effort guy out there on the mound. a right-hander that falls towards his left side pretty much every time he finishes. Can run it up to the mid-90s. He's big power arm at 6'3", 225 pounds. Righty on lefty here. Left-handed hitter Cody Pasek, who's 0 for 2. Picked up his first extra base hit with a home run in the All-Star game. A check swing on a fastball above the letters. It's a called ball, 2-0. An appeal over to third base. John Putala says he did not go. A late appeal there by the home plate umpire Mark Piantadosi. Rogsby comes set, kicks and deals, the 2-0. Check swing. This time he did go around. No appeal needed for Piantadosi there behind home plate. So it's 2-1 now. Pasek was not able to hold up on that changeup. That's so weird. Baseball can just be such a unique sport where Pasek doesn't have an extra base hit the entire season, Sam. Picks up his first extra base hit. It's a home run in the All-Star game.
It was an incredible moment. Just one of those where it's a bigger game at play.
The 2-1. Line drive. Diving grab there by Morissette to rob Pasek of a hit. So quickly, 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. But that is the first batter to not strike out this summer against Braxton Rogsby. Cody Pasek lines out to second base.
I guess that's some consolation for Cody, but still, second time that he's been robbed today by a Bourne defender. Glowenke got him on a diving play out in left field in the second inning as a shortstop, and then his middle infield teammate Morissette makes a diving play going to his left here in the 7th.
It's a great point, Sam. Pasek could very easily be 2 for 3. Kettleers just have 6 hits as a team. Bourne just 3 and no runs to show for it. It's still 2-0 here. 2 away in the 7th. First pitch swinging is Oviedo. A chopper up the middle and it sneaks into center field for a base hit.
Adam Oviedo has been quietly getting on a little mini tear in the number 9 spot. He's now got a hit in his last 3 games, and he walked earlier in this ball game, just approaching it a lot better, a little more aggressive when he needs to be, and then a little more dialed in when he's got 2 strikes on him. Good improvements, and you just never know. With a veteran like him around and we're into the final stretch of the season, he might come out with a big play when they need him at the plate.
273 in his last 10 ball games. As that one gets past the catcher and over towards the third base dugout, Oviedo will get into scoring position. Ovi was barely floating over the Mendoza line for a great portion of the year, and as you mentioned, Sam, that tear in the last 10 ball games, 273 coming into today, picks up the single. He's 1 for 2 with the walk, and has done a really good job in that 9-hole. Now it's back to the top of the order, Nick Gonzalez, who's ahead 1-0 now on that wild pitch there from Rogsby. Nick Gonzalez is 0 for 3. He lined out to center in his last at-bat. The second baseman bats from the right side, gets his first look at the reliever from Pittsburgh. Down and in, 1-1, or 2-0 rather. So that ball misses in the dirt. 2-0 to Nick Gonzalez. Gonzalez leads the entire Cape League in hits, runs, and extra base hits. He's got 41 hits, 18 extra base hits. He's been the leadoff hitter pretty much all season long for the Kettleers, but second in the Cape in home runs with 7. Curveball misses inside. It's 3-0 to Gonzalez. It looks like Rogsby doesn't want much to do with him. He does have first base open. Casey Schmidt waits on deck. He's 1 for 3. Gonzalez hitting .347 coming into this one. He's got to be the favorite for Cape Player of the Year when it's all said and done. He's ahead 3-0 here. We'll see if Coach Roberts gives him the green light. He does give him the green light. It's pulled foul. And if anyone's going to have that green light, Sam, at 3-0, it's going to be Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah, he knows what he wants to hit, and he hasn't picked one up so far in this game. On a 6-game hitting streak, though. We're getting late into this one. Don't know how many more at-bats he'll have. That's rather academic. The job right here is to get a base hit and make it a 3-run game heading into the top of the 8th.
Gonzo started the summer off with a 24-game on-base streak. Trying to rattle off a new streak here. He does. He makes it 7 now. And he'll reach base on a ball. And that's ball 4, and now it's first and second. 2 outs here for Casey Schmidt. So Casey Schmidt's 1 for 3. He's got 2 runners on base, 1 in scoring position, 2 away. 303 in his last 10 games, 10 for 33. A home run and a pair of RBI. First pitch to Schmidt, misses low and away. 93-mile-per-hour fastball that Rogsby tugged. 1-0 to the right-handed hitting third baseman. Schmidt 264 overall, 28 for 106. Second on the team with 5 home runs. He's driven in 17 as well. The 1-0. Curveball popped up into the infield, playable for the first baseman Bruiser, who makes the grab right around his position for out number 3. So the Kettleers strand 2 more as Casey Schmidt slams his helmet in frustration, but they still lead 2-0 as we go into the 8th. My partner Sam Niederman will take you home on these final 2 innings. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Gave me a Vegemite sandwich, and he said, I come from a land down under.
It's the 8th inning at Lowell Park. Kettleers in control 2-0 over the Bourne Braves, and a new pitcher on for Cotuit. Matt Mervis comes into the ball game, the big right-hander out of Duke, 6'4", 225 pounds. He makes his 7th appearance on the summer. He's pitched 13 and a thirds innings so far, striking out 10 and walking 1, 1 and 2 with a 2.70 earned run average. He's opposite the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the Bourne order. Bruiser, McKenzie, and Carmody due up for the Braves on the road. 2-0 Kettleers. Mervis has really turned himself into maybe the best primary option out of the back end of Coach Roberts' bullpen.
He has been really good ever since that outing at Harwich where he struck out the last 6 outs of the ball game. He seems to just really have found a feel for that changeup that he sets up with his mid-90s fastball. And he's gotten it going at the plate as well, a guy that's really just turned into a big part of this Cotuit ball club after kind of being buried down on the roster, arriving late.
One of 8 Cotuit All-Stars that played in Orleans on Sunday. He played at the plate, went 1 for 2 with a double and a run score in the game. He follows up Sean Sullivan, who was brilliant again. 7 innings as a starter, no runs allowed on 3 hits. He did not walk a batter for the 2nd consecutive game, and he struck out 6. You can make it a 13-inning scoreless streak for Sully on the mound. 2-0 Cotuit, top of the 8th. Here's Nick Bruiser. Mervis fires in a fastball, just a little high and tight for ball 1. Bruiser, the right-handed batting first baseman out of Stanford, 1 for 2 with a double his last time up in the 5th. Infield plays back and straight up for Cotuit. Mervis winds in the 1-0. Curveball slides down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Bruiser, a great defensive play at first base earlier. That was in the 6th to rob Mason McWhorter of a potential hit. He was playing in on the infield, knocked it down, and then army crawled to the bag for the out. He takes a fastball at the knees for a strike, 2-1. Somehow we got this game underway, and the Kettleers are 6 outs away from making it another shutout win over Bourne. Cotuit got them 5-0 at Doran Park a couple weeks back. Fastball down and away, 3 balls and a strike on Bruiser. That was a game in which Zach McCambley and Casey Schmidt combined for the 9-inning shutout, striking out 12. Only allowed 7 hits as well. Sullivan's only allowed 3 hits. Mervis is 3-1 to Bruiser. Fastball spotted on the outside corner for a strike. Bruiser was trotting down to first base, about to flip the bat to his dugout, but instead he walks back in for a 3-2 pitch.
Come on back, buddy. How many times have we seen that this year? The batter starts running towards first base, and the home plate umpire calls it a strike. It's almost out of spite sometimes, a late call. And you can't blame him. You got to give the umpire the chance to make the call.
Mervis shakes off Pasek, heaves the shoulders, now into the windup. Payoff on the way. Fastball just a little downstairs at 93 miles an hour. This time it's ball four to Bruiser, who's aboard with the first walk of the game for Bourne. He's a leadoff runner with nobody out in the top of the eighth.
How about that? Sean Sullivan doesn't walk one in 7 innings. Mervis walks the first batter he faces, and Mervis is a guy that typically does not walk a lot of batters, so see if he can settle back in here. Free passes are not really something you have to spare here, only up 2 runs in the eighth.
It's only a second walk thrown in 13 innings pitched. A high pickoff over to Bruiser at first. McWhorter holds him on. Next batter, Jake McKenzie. He stands in from the right side, 1 for 2 with a single in the third and a strikeout against Sullivan in the fifth. Mervis out of the stretch. Curveball, checked his swing, and he went around on the plane on a pitch in the other batter's box for strike 1. Good job by Pasek to scoot over and keep it in front. No balls and 1 strike on the speedy McKenzie. Bruiser leads off first. A short lead held on by McWhorter. Schmidt plays in at third. Mervis holds on the belt. 0-1. Change-up, rope down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Bruiser speeds in towards third. Chavers digs it out by the foul pole and gets it into the cutoff man, and it rolls onto the left side of the infield. It's a double for Jake McKenzie to make it second and third for Bourne, both tying runs in scoring position with nobody out in the 8th inning.
And all Bourne needed, it looks like, is just to get Sean Sullivan out of the ball game. He comes out, and they've got 2 runners aboard now for Mervis. And Coach Roberts looks like he's going to come out.
And Coach Roberts comes out, talks with Mark Piantadosi. We saw a little bit of this on Saturday. I believe what he's saying is that Robert Carmody, the catcher, who's originally supposed to bat in the number 9 spot, was walking up to the plate, and now it looks like Harvey Shapiro wants to go to a pinch hitter, and I think Coach is letting the umpire know, hey, the original man was going up to the plate. He can't just stop after getting into the box. He never did get in the box, I don't believe, but Coach pointing towards the first base dugout, and Mark Piantadosi, the home plate umpire, telling him what he saw, and now Harvey Shapiro wants to clarify things from the third base side. Coach Roberts goes out onto the mound to calm things down with Matt Mervis and Cody Pasek and the rest of the infield. Now Harvey Shapiro having a conversation with the home plate ump. What are your thoughts on that whole switching debate if the player's walking up to the plate and then there's a last-minute pull for a pinch hitter?
I think that's fine. You're allowed to get on the on-base, or on deck, rather, before you're formally announced. It's once you come up to the plate where it actually matters. I don't know. That's one thing that Coach Roberts has really been sticking by and going to war against, but I'm pretty sure the rule is as long as they're not formally announced by the PA system, it doesn't matter, and you can switch it up as much as you want.
The first time that we saw that was last Tuesday in Orleans. The Firebirds were set to set up a pinch hitter. Instead, they kept their original batter, Zach Britton, in a key situation in the 8th. He ended up laying down a sac bunt that was very pivotal. We also saw it on Saturday with Hyannis, and then also at the end of that game, Coach Roberts did not like the way Chad Gassman handled that one, a game in which the Kettleers lost 6-2 with the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Nick Gonzalez was at the plate, but we never got to finish up the script because the game was called due to darkness. Well, that's it for Matt Mervis. He comes off the mound. Coach senses the trouble. A leadoff walk to Nick Bruiser, and then Jake McKenzie hits a double down the left field line to make it second and third with nobody out. A new pitcher comes on for the Kettleers, and we'll get you that new pitcher on the other side of this break. 2-0 Cotuit, top of the 8th, second and third, nobody out for Bourne. Be back in just a moment. Here's the first pitch to Rivoli. Grounded over to short. Oviedo fields and goes to first. That gets one. Rivoli grounds out to shortstop, and that plates a running Bruiser. One down, and it's now a 2-1 ball game with the Kettleers still in front. Brendan Rivoli comes off the bench and picks up an RBI groundout. Bruiser scores from third. McKenzie moves up to third from second. And it's a 2-1 ball game with one out in the eighth. A man on third, and the infield comes in for the Kettleers. Schmidt on the mound. Matt Mervis now replaces him as a third baseman. 2-by-2 across the infield, playing on the edge of the grass. Cody Morissette, the left-handed batter. Schmidt out of the stretch, high leg lift, and the first pitch spit into deep right field. That's down in the gap to tie the ball game. Morissette drives in McKenzie with a one-out double here in the eighth, and we are knotted up at 2. The Bourne bullpen celebrates down the right field foul pole as they have all day long for any good play by a teammate. And this one, the biggest one of them all. A run-scoring double from Cody Morissette. He drives in his 12th run of the season. It's Jake McKenzie who scores from third base. And just like that, it is a 2-2 game with one out in the eighth. Two pitches and 2 runs for Bourne after Mervis exits the game and Schmidt enters. Man on second with one out, and here's Xavier Warren. He looks at a fastball, 90 miles an hour for a strike on the high outside corner. Warren 0 for 3, a fly out to center field back in the 6th inning of play. 2-2, RBI ground out by Rivoli, game-tying double by Morissette. He's on second base, shaded by Oviedo. Schmidt closed off out of the stretch to the plate. 0-1, skids inside, it gets behind Pasek, and Morissette coasts into third base on a wild pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Warren. Bourne, on a matter of a couple of pitches, now has the potential go-ahead run 90 feet away from the plate. Infield comes back in for Cotuit. It's 2-2 in the top of the 8th. Man on third with one out. Warren from the left side with a 1-1 count. Pasek signals across his chest protector. Schmidt gets the sign, now closes off on the third base side of the rubber. Pulses, leg lift, and 1-1. Change up, dotted on the outside corner to get ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And that's a pass ball that can't get past Pasek there, especially with the runner on second, 1 out. Now they're back into a situation where it's do or die. You need a ground ball in the infield or a strikeout, or else Bourne takes the lead here.
Overcast skies in Cotuit, starting to get a little darker. Deep into this one, 2-2 in the 8th. Man on third, 1 out. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back. Warren stays alive on a hard fastball on the inside corner. Cotuit keeps the infield in. 2 on either side. Mervis at third, Oviedo the shortstop, Nick Gonzalez the second baseman, and McWhorter the first baseman. They're all split off even. Oviedo plays maybe a touch closer onto the grass than the rest of his 3 compadres on the infield. Morissette off third. 2-2 game in the 8th, 1-2. Change in the dirt, good block by Pasek to keep it in front. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bourne is tied it in this frame. Brendan Rivoli came off the bench as a pinch hitter and hit an RBI ground ball to short. That was the first pitch Casey Schmidt threw. His second pitch was clocked into the right center field gap by Cody Morissette. An RBI double to score McKenzie, and that's tied it at 2 apiece. Schmidt closed off out of the stretch. The 2-2. Splitter down and away, full count on Warren. This game began after a long wait, thinking we might not even be able to play it. Thunderstorms across the Cape last night, tornado warnings last night and this morning. A tornado touchdown in South Yarmouth, actually on the water. It even started drizzling a couple hours before first pitch, but somehow the field was in shape to get this one in. Now Bourne's tied it in the 8th, 2-2. 3-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Got him inside with a nasty splitter. Casey Schmidt with a gutsy strikeout, and that's a big out, number 2 in the 8th.
That's the big difference there. That splitter started at the knees and dropped basically into the dirt. The splitter that was hit for a double started up above the belt and stayed right down the middle, and that's the big problem.
A big comeback in that at-bat for Casey Schmidt. Judd Fabian was the next scheduled batter, but instead the Kettleers opt to intentionally walk him, and he immediately sheds his gear and bat and walks down to first base. So Warren strikes out on a 3-2 pitch for the second out. Fabian, an intentional walk, he's up to first. And the cleanup batter, Jimmy Glowinski, comes to the plate 1 for 3 with a single, and he was thrown out at second base trying to stretch it into a double his last time up in the 7th.
Seems like Coach Roberts has seen enough of Judd Fabian as well.
Indeed. Runner on the move, and Fabian to second. Pasek bluffs the throw down and hangs on to it. Morissette stays put at third. 1 ball and no strikes on Glowinski. Fabian an intentional walk, and he moves up to second on defensive indifference. Runners on second and third with 2 outs in the 8th. We are tied up at 2. Glowinski, the right-handed batter at the plate with a slightly open stance. Infield plays back for the Kettleers. Robinson may be a little shallow in center. 1-0 fastball, dives down and off the plate, 2 balls and no strikes. 2 runs from Bourne have tied it. Sean Sullivan, a 7-inning shutout as a starter for the Kettleers. Matt Mervis faced the first 2 batters of this inning. 1 walked and 1 doubled. They both came home to score on an RBI ground out in a double. Second and third with 2 away in the 8th. 2-2 game, Schmidt's 2-0. Splitter in the dirt. Glowinski lays off of it, and he's in the driver's seat with a 3-0 count. Quiet day in Cotuit. Overcast skies overhead, and just a couple of pastel-colored white clouds out in the distance over left field, with a couple of sky blue gaps to peek through.
You figure he might pitch around Glowinski here, but the guy on deck, Poland, is not anyone you want to face either.
3-0. Got a strike with a fastball down the heart of the plate, 3-1.
Poland sitting 348 in his last 10 games coming into today, 8 for his last 23. And you get the weird feeling he's due 0 for 3 if he gets up here with the bases loaded. Of course, you don't want to give in to Glowinski either here. 3-1 pitch, it's got to be a borderline pitch. You don't want to put it over the plate. It's a tough situation if you're Casey Schmidt.
2-2 game in the 8th. Second and third with 2 away, the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Got him with the changeup downstairs, and it's now a full count on Glowinski.
Great pitch there by Schmidt. If he takes it for ball 4, it's not the end of the world. You got first base open. If he chases it, now you're into a full count, and that's exactly what happened.
Pitcher's duel at Lowell Park, 2-2 in the 8th. Bourne has tied it. Morissette's RBI double. The game-tying hit. He's on third. Fabian off second as an intentional walk. Nobody holds on. Infield plays back. Schmidt with the leg lift, 3-2. Splitter roped into the trees on the left side, foul. Glowinski stays alive. Jarrett Poland on deck, as Aram told you. The right-handed batter out of Louisville who is 0 for 3 with a pair of flyouts to right. 2 runs on 5 hits for Bourne, 2 runs on 7 hits for the Kettleers. No errors for either side in a speedy ball game that's already in the top of the 8th. 2 in scoring position with 2 away. 2-2 on the scoreboard. Schmidt's ready. His 3-2 again. Splitter down and away. And Glowinski has a nice eye to take it for ball 4. He trots on down to an open first base. And now Bourne has a chance to smash in front with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 8th.
Tough spot, like we said earlier. You don't want to face Poland with the bases loaded. But you can live with that. A payoff pitch there. You don't want to put it over the plate. A splitter that it was a tough pitch to lay off of, and a great job there by Glowinski.
Now it's Jared Poland's turn. The right-handed batting DH out of Louisville, 0 for 3. 2-2, 2 outs and the bases loaded in the 8th. Schmidt starts him off with a fastball that tags the outside corner for a strike. This inning began with Matt Mervis on the mound. He walked the leadoff man and gave up a double to McKenzie. It was second and third with nobody out. He shifted to third base, and Schmidt came on to pitch. He got Rivoli out for out number 1 with an RBI ground out, gave up the RBI double to Morissette, struck out Warren, intentionally walked Fabian, and walked Glowinski. And now he pulls the string on Poland with a great off-speed pitch over the plate, 0-2. Two-two game here in the top of the 8th. Bourne has tied it up with Morissette's double. He's on third base, Fabian off second base. and it's Glowenke who trails at first. Nobody holds on. Defense plays straight up for Cotuit. Schmidt's got him right where he wants him in an 0-2 hole. Holds at the belt. Casey to the plate. Splitter downstairs. Dug out by Pasek. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Poland.
I was just going to say they're really important for Pasek to be a brick wall here. With Schmidt way ahead, he doesn't want to give anything over the plate. That splitter typically goes in the dirt. And he's got to be able to trust his catcher, Pasek, that he can spike a splitter and that he'll block it, because the go-ahead run stands on third base and a pretty spacious backstop here at Lowell Park.
Glowenke on first, Fabian on second, Morris set on third. 1-2 home. Swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball inside. Casey Schmidt clocks it home, and Poland goes down swinging with the bases loaded. Kettleers get out of the jam, but Bourne ties it up. 2-2. Cody Morissette with a game-tying double, and we're going to the bottom of the 8th. Kettleers at the plate, looking to take the lead back on the other side of this break on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Here we go, bottom of the 8th. Kettleers tied with Bourne 2-2. Chance to take the lead back. Bourne tied it with 2 runs in the top of this 8th inning. Cody Morissette with an RBI double, but Casey Schmidt ended it with a spark. A good ending for the Kettleers, stranding the bases loaded. Schmidt with a strikeout of Jared Poland. He got the final 3 outs of that inning. Matt Mervis worked 0+ innings facing the first 2 batters. He walked 1, gave up 1 hit, and is charged the only 2 runs of that frame. And we're on to the bottom of 8. Kettleers at the plate against a new pitcher for Bourne. Kieran Shaw comes on, the right-hander out of Harvard. 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, a senior from Los Gatos, California. He's making his 12th appearance on the year. A very nice 1-0 record with a 1.68 earned run average. He's picked up 3 saves so far at the back end of Bourne's bullpen. 10 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 12 over that time, only walking 2 and allowing 6 hits. He last pitched against Cotuit on Monday, July the 15th. It was an inning performance in which he picked up the save, and that 3-2 victory over the Kettleers, a game in which Cotuit lost late. They were up late in that one, much like they are here, and then gave up a tie here. A 3-2 loss thanks to Judd Fabian's 8th inning go-ahead home run at home in Doran Park. Instead, it's the Kettleers who come to the plate in the home half of the 8th inning at Lowell Park in a 2-2 ball game, and maybe Matt Mervis can make up for a shaky performance on the mound. He leads things off to start the bottom of the 8th in the number 3 spot, replacing the DH spot, which would have been Cam Hill. So it's Mervis, then Mason McWhorter, and then Joey Loperfido. 3, 4, and 5 against Shaw, who begins with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Mervis bats from the left side. Bourne counters with the defense straight up. Wind up from Shaw on the 0-1. Swing and a miss on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Strike 2. 1 defensive change for Bourne. Brendan Rivoli is now the catcher in place of Robert Carmody, who started off the game and finished up 0 for 2. Rivoli started the rally in the 8th with an RBI groundout to make it 2-1. 0-2. Fastball checked away on the third base side, foul. Mervis stays alive. No balls and 2 strikes still. A damp infield at Lowell Park. The entire circle around home plate is a darker shade of brown on the outskirts. Normal infield dirt on the inside of that little border. Infield a little damper as well. 0-2 changed him up, but did not get anything on the bite. Just a little low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Thunderstorms throughout last night and then into the morning, and even some showers before first pitch, but we still got this one in thanks to some great field work by the Kettleers staff. 1-2, jacked high in the air. It's an arcing fly ball on the infield. Morissette has a beat on it, and he bags it for out number 1. Mervis pops out to second base. Leadoff man retired in the home half of the 8th inning. Still tied up 2 apiece, and Mason McQuarters at the plate, 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first and scored a run. Struck out in the third, and then was robbed of a potential hit with the infield playing in. He grounded to first. An excellent play by Nick Bruiser. 2-2 game. Bases empty, 1 away in the bottom of 8. First pitch to McQuarter. Slashed off foul on the left side. Joey Loperfido stands on deck, 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles. And the 2-run double that came with 2 outs in the first. The only score for the Kettleers so far. 2 runs on 7 hits compared to Bourne's 2 runs on 5 hits. Infield plays back. Shaw winds up for the 0-1. Changeup misses at the shins. 1 ball and 1 strike on McQuarter. Sean Sullivan, 7 scoreless innings for the Kettleers on the mound, giving up just 3 hits and striking out 6. Bourne tied it in the top of the 8th. It's 2-2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-1. Fastball. Nice pitch on the outside corner to get ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes on McQuarter. Bourne stayed in it with their starter Nick Domkowski. He went 5 1/3, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits, walking 1 and striking out 3. Bases clear with 1 away in the 8th. Shaw's 1-2. Curveball, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him badly. McQuarter unable to get a spot on it, and that's out number 2. A lot of drop to that curveball from Shaw. He's got the first 2 batters in the bottom of this 8th inning. Now only Joey Loperfido stands in his way from the left side. Loperfido a perfect 3 for 3. Had the 2-run double in the first, an opposite field double in the 4th, and a single plunked into right back in the 6th. Shaw's first pitch to him, a 91 mile-an-hour fastball that's too high and too fast for strike 1 on a swing and a miss. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Loperfido lays off of it. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 runs in the bottom of the first for Cotuit. 2 runs in the top of this 8th for Bourne. An RBI ground out by Brendan Rivoli and an RBI double by Cody Morissette to tie it. Bourne did leave the bases open. Casey Schmidt got out of the jam. 1-1 on the way. Fastball down and out. 2 balls and a strike on Loperfido. Bourne stranded 3 in the 8th. They've stranded 6 total. The Kettleers have left 6 total themselves, including 2 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. Nobody on here with 2 outs and a 2-2 game. Loperfido knocks back a fastball hard and foul off the mask of Rivoli to even up the count, 2-2. Looks like Rivoli's okay. He just readjusts his mask and gets back down into his crouch. Mark Piantadosi gives him a little more time to recalibrate, asking for a few new baseballs from the Kettleer bat boy. This is the only game in action in the entire Cape League, at least on Cape. Wareham beat YD 3-2 off Cape at Dunkin' Donuts Park in Hartford, Connecticut. Second straight year that the Cape League has gone to that AA stadium, home of the Hartford Yard Goats. 2-2, wave and a miss. He foul-tipped it back into Rivoli's mitt, and Shaw picks up a second strikeout in a row to cap off the 8th inning. And it looks like that might be the game. Mark Piantadosi goes back behind. He just signaled with his arms as if to say it's safe, or in this case, that the game is over. And this game indeed is over. It ends in a tie. The Kettleers tie the Bourne Braves 2-2. A final after 8 innings of play at Lowell Park. This game takes 2 hours and 15 minutes. We started at 4:57. We end at 7:13, just a little abruptly. And unfortunately, the Kettleers aren't able to muster over the top against Bourne. It ends in a draw by a final score of 2-2. Well, both teams get ready to go into the handshake line. Mike Roberts told us immediately before the game that he planned to start and go 5 innings or so. We got a little bit of sun and a lot of good pitching, which picked us up all the way to the 8th inning. But a late rally by Bourne ties it, and that's how it ends. In a draw, 2-2. Both teams in the handshake line. Bourne all smiles. The Kettleers maybe a little more disappointed, and we'll come back and wrap it up and tell you why on the other side of this break. Your post-game wrap coming up next, a 2-2 draw between the Kettleers and Bourne on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Park, the Kettleers tie with the Bourne Braves 2-2 today. A final after 8 innings called due to darkness. An abrupt call at the end of the game, but unfortunately the Kettleers aren't able to stick the landing arm. It was a fast game. A lot of good pitching in this one. Let's start there. Sean Sullivan, once again, 7 scoreless innings. He only gave up 3 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 6.
He was as good as ever, and that's tough to beat because he's been really good in his last few outings. Topped the season high for any Kettleer, which was set by him. 6 innings he went earlier in the year. That matched Joe Nahas as well. He goes 7 today, and he was just working quickly, pounding in strikes, and just efficient. I think that has to be the word to describe him today, is efficient. His rhythm on the mound was great. He was basically catching the ball and ready to throw it right back after 2 seconds between every pitch, and it was a really good recipe for a good rhythm for him on the mound and good for him to keep his defense on their toes.
Sullivan faces 3 over the minimum. He tossed 85 pitches, 63 of them for strikes. He was picked up early by the Kettleer offense. Cotuit was at the plate with runners on the corners and 2 away in the first, and it was Joey Loperfido. He was able to poke a double down the right field line. That plated both of those runners, and wheels up were early for Cotuit, up 2-0 on that 2-strike hit by Loperfido, who wrapped up his day 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles. What'd you like out of him at the plate?
He just looked locked in, especially the fact that he was able to plate one of those doubles with 2 strikes. He's looking a lot better behind in the count. He said coming into the year that strikeouts was something he wanted to work on, and he's done a great job of doing so. A much better 2-strike approach against a southpaw as well as a left-handed hitter, and his 3 for 3 day ups his batting average to .298. And just like that, Loperfido is starting to be one of the more productive bats in this entire Kettleer order.
Bourne was able to stay in the game after the Kettleers took that early 2-0 lead in the first. Nick Domkowski started the game. The left-hander out of Hartford University went 5 1/3 innings, allowed just those 2 runs on 6 hits, walked 1, and struck out 3. He kept the game contained, kept the Kettleers contained. In fact, the Kettleers only had a couple of hits since that Loperfido double going into the 6th and 7th innings. And then Bourne was able to strike back. Sullivan's day wrapped up after the 7th. Mike Roberts went to his bullpen to begin the top of the 8th. Matt Mervis came on, faced 2 batters, and both results were sour. A leadoff walk to Nick Bruiser, and then a second batter double by Jake McKenzie to make it 2nd and 3rd. With nobody out, Coach came in and then put in Casey Schmidt, who gave up an RBI groundout to a pinch hitter in Brendan Rivoli, which made it a 2-1 game. The next pitch he threw was spit back out into right center field, a game-tying RBI double by Cody Morissette. That would be the last score of the game. It tied the game up at 2-2. Schmidt was able to get out of it, though. He picked up 2 strikeouts in his inning of work, was not charged a run, both runs charged to Mervis, and he was able to get out of a bases-loaded jam. He was really working with that splitter as well.
Unfortunately, he hung 1. He inherited a tough situation there with 2 runners on and 2 runners in scoring position. He threw one bad splitter, and that was the one that was plated for a double out into the gap. But other than that, to hold the game at 2 and help the Kettleers get away with a tie was great, because he really settled in there and was able to get a lot of swings and misses, which was exactly why Coach Roberts called on him in that situation.
Cotuit came to the plate in the bottom of the 8th, not knowing that it would be the last inning, but the Kettleers went down 1-2-3 against Kieran Shaw. He went 1 scoreless inning, striking out the final 2 batters in Mason McWhorter and Joey Loperfido. And after Loperfido swung and missed, that was the end of the game. Mark Piantadosi, the home plate umpire, called it due to darkness, and we wrap things up with a 2-2 draw after 8 innings of play. This game closes the book on the regular season series between these 2 ball clubs. Kettleers can technically actually win the series with 3 wins to 2 losses and 1 draw. Bourne picks up their 14th win of the season. They are 14-20 now. Next up for the Bravos, they go back home at Doran Park to host the last place Hyannis Harbor Hawks tomorrow night with a 6 p.m. first pitch. The Cotuit Kettleers drop to 17-15-3. Next up for Cotuit, a 6 p.m. road trip to Brewster tomorrow. Little Stony Brook action for the Kets, taking on the last place Whitecaps in the Eastern Division. Tonight's box score: Bourne 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base. 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base for the Kettleers. No winning pitcher, no losing pitcher, no save pitcher with a tie. The game took 2 hours and 16 minutes. It was cloudy and just shy of 70 degrees on the day. No attendance numbers to tell you. We'll be back at Stony Brook tomorrow. A little road trip action, going to be fun. First pitch at 6 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:50 p.m. Get here early and hear from Coach Roberts. We'll break things down, and it'll be really good. So we've got less than 10 games to go on the regular season. At Brewster tomorrow, a makeup game against Harwich on Thursday. That's at 5 p.m. at Lowell Park. A huge division matchup against Wareham on Friday. On the road to take on Chatham on Saturday. Home against YD on Sunday. Back at Wareham on Monday. Back home against Falmouth next Tuesday. And then back on the road to close out the regular season against Falmouth with a doubleheader on Wednesday, July the 31st. So it's a draw here at Lowell Park, 2-2 between the Kettleers and the Bourne Braves. Thank you so much for listening. For our president, Andy Bonaker, our vice president, Paul Logan, our intern supervisor, Don Lassier, our broadcast supervisor, Martha Johnston, our producers and directors, Josh Rothstein and Jacob Cohen, our coach, Mike Roberts, our writing team of Will Krause, Ben Gainsborough, social media intern and sports information director, Caleb Kaufman. I'm Sam Niederman saying goodbye for Arm Layton and Matty Ice, our super fan here in the booth. We will see you tomorrow at Stony Brook. The Kettleers tie it with the Bourne Braves, a 2-2 final on a rainy